I, Hello, how are you?
All right.
Thank you for coming.
All right, we're going to start this meeting now. Call to order. I hereby announce pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act that adequate notice of this meeting has been transmitted on January 14, 2026 by the Board Administrative Officer to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, the Township Clerk, and has been posted in the meeting room and in the entrance hall in Town Hall, all pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call.
Mr. Connolly? Mr. Connolly is absent. Mr. Corrigan? Mr. Corrigan is absent. Mr. Varnerham? Here. Mr. Fagan?
Here.
Ms. Plausas? Here. Mr. Bell? Here. Mr. Antonucci?
Here.
Mr. Mann?
Here.
Mr. Silberman?
Here.
Mr. Dorse? Mr. Dorse is absent. Mr. Robbins? Mr. Robbins is absent. We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And a moment of silence to honor the military, police, and first responders. Thank you. Okay, there's no resolutions on the agenda for today. However, we do have the minutes from our May 19th meeting. If there are any questions or comments on those meetings, anyone? If not, will someone make a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion.
Eligible to vote, Mr. Vanderham? Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Ms. Plausas? And Mr. Silberman.
Yes.
Thank you for the record. May 19th, 2023. Minutes were successfully approved.
What's that? All right. Okay, now on to the hearings. Item 1 for today is PB 2025-F, St. Benedict Catholic Church and School, 165 Bethany Road. 165 Bethany Road, Homedale, New Jersey, Block 30.09, Lot 6.01, Homedale, New Jersey. The applicant seeks amended preliminary and final site plan approval for first and second floor additions to the existing main building, which would allow 4 new classrooms and/or communal spaces totaling approximately 15,533 square feet of additional floor area. The project will be built in 2 phases with a change from the original approval. At this time, Counselor?
Let's check with Irina. Notices in order, Irina, and escrows are good.
That is correct.
And for all the hearings tonight, and as they may continue, we're swearing our witnesses also. So, and Fran, you might as well swear yourself in. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. So for the record, our professionals have been sworn in. I'm sorry, we'll get to you in a second. Sorry now.
TJ has to recuse himself.
Oh, yes, St. Benedict. So we have one of our members have to recuse himself for this hearing. So he's going to step out of the hearing room and he'll return for the second hearing. Thanks, TJ. Thank you. We still have six members.
I'm sorry, for the record, 7:08 p.m. Mr. Mann stepped off the application for St. Benedict. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Dante Alfieri on behalf of the applicant. As the chairman stated, we're here on behalf of St. Benedict's Church. This application was previously approved in October of 2025. We're here seeking amended approval. Unfortunately, our client's contractor walked out on them And in the process, we've resubmitted and made some slight modifications. I have one individual to provide testimony tonight, our engineer, who's going to run through those modifications. And with those modifications, we've actually reduced some of the variance relief that was previously granted. So without further ado, I'm going to call up our engineer, who happens to be sitting right next to me, Mr. Wolf.
I will swear him in. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. Just state your name for the record, please.
Doug Wolf, W-O-L-F-E.
Does he have to be qualified? Yeah.
Mr. Wolf, if you don't mind, please providing your credentials for the board.
Sure. Doug Wolf, work at Bowler Engineering, 30 Independence Boulevard, Suite 200 in Warren, New Jersey. I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Virginia Tech. I have a PE in the state of New Jersey. I've testified before multiple boards in the state as well as this board before earlier this year for the prior approval. And I have a current license that is in good standing.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Wolf, if you don't mind just running through the changes from the previous approval to what's being proposed tonight.
Sure. Quickly, I'm going to reorient everyone just so we know where we are. This is the St. Ben's. First, this is Exhibit A1. I'll mark it as that. This is St. Ben's Church and School, 165 Bethany Road, Township of Holmdel, Monmouth County, New Jersey, Block 30.09, Lot 6.01, 21.7 acres in size, and is shown in yellow on the screen in front of you. Zone is R40B, and private school is a permitted use. Moving on to the site plan improvements. I'll zoom in here so everyone can see. We'll mark this Exhibit A2. This is titled Overall Site Plan Rendering Exhibit, prepared by Bowler, dated 6/16/2026. As stated before, we're proposing a two-phase building addition with ancillary parking, sidewalk, stormwater, utility, landscaping, and lighting improvements, which previously received approval earlier this year. We are coming in now for amended preliminary and final site plan approval just with respect to the Phase 1 portion. That Phase 1 portion is highlighted in the bottom right corner here. I'm now going to move on to a comparison exhibit which will identify some of the changes I'm going to go through. So this is a site plan comparison exhibit. We can mark this A3, prepared by Bowler, dated 6/16/2026. Again, the Phase 1 portion is the focus of this application. The Phase 1 building, which is shown previously where my mouse is here, that is now being removed and relocated to what is shown on the right side of the page. The right side of the page is our new proposal that has been submitted to the board and its professionals. The Phase 1 building addition has been revised to eliminate the 1,700 square foot portion as discussed, and instead we will be proposing a modular unit. That is this building rectangular portion shown here. Size is 102 feet by 23.3 feet, approximately 2,380 square feet in size. Again, we had to change construction methods due to the contractor dropping out at the last minute. We were going to do tilt up. That was no longer possible. Now it's going to be a modular, and that modular did not fit in the original location, and that is the reason we now need to relocate it further into this area as shown here. Overall, the number of students and teachers will remain the same. Students and teachers will enter this building from an existing door that is located where my mouse is here, out of the existing building. We will be providing a sidewalk along with an ADA ramp and stairs proposed at the entrance along the right-hand side here, as well as 3 other egress points on the left-hand side of the page. The 4 canopy trees previously proposed are going to be relocated towards the bottom, as shown where my mouse is now. Number of trees are going to remain the same. We're not reducing any trees here. In terms of circulation, we have sent this revised plan to the fire marshal, or fire official, excuse me. We're awaiting any comments from him. However, we have addressed his prior comment letter that he issued during the last public hearing, so we're just working to wrap that up. In terms of parking, there are now 275 parking spaces proposed where there was 277 proposed previously, so that's 2 less, and the reason for that is because we're working with the township professionals to do some restriping in the ADA area. You can see in this inset up in the top right, there were some non-compliant widths. We're complying with that now. As a result, 2 of those spaces had to be reduced. In terms of bulk requirements, quickly running through these, lot area, lot depth, lot frontage, lot width, front yard setback, side yard setback, rear yard setback are all to remain unchanged from the prior approval. In terms of max building height, we will be proposing a compliant building height of 29.99 feet for Phase 2 and 17.7 feet for the Phase 1 modular building, where 30 feet is permitted. In terms of max coverage by primary structures, driveways, and accessory uses, this number has been revised per comments from the engineer to remove sidewalk and gravel as part of the calculation per the definition in the ordinance. These accurate numbers now are as follows. In the existing condition, there's 31.5% coverage. The previously approved condition was 30.2% coverage, which required a variance condition. We are now proposing a slight increase here to 30.5% and are requesting a variance for this slight increase. Again, this is just due to the relocation requirement of this modular building being in the landscape area here. That is only a 0.3% requirement from what was previously approved, and again, we are reducing that from the existing non-conforming condition of 31.5%. Moving on to lighting for Phase 1, the 2 previously approved area lights are being replaced with 1 area light and 10 wall-mounted lights. There's going to be 1 area light on the southern portion of the page here, and then 10 wall-mounted area lights around this modular building, shown where my mouse is. The lighting level and colors are consistent with prior approval, with 3 approved waiver requests being reduced in intensity and are as follows. We're requesting a waiver for 2.04 foot candle average illumination at ground level, where 0.5 to 1 is required. We're requesting a waiver for 4.08 maximum average to minimum uniformity ratio, where 4 to 1 is required, and a waiver for 10.2 to 1 maximum to minimum uniformity ratio, where 10 to 1 is required. Again, in all 3 of these values, we're reducing from the prior approval and not exacerbating. Landscaping I hit on, we're relocating those 4 trees. Quantities are to remain the same as previously approved, And in terms of approvals, we've received FSCD, dated 10/21/25. County, we've received 3/9/26. TWA, DEP, we've received 4/28/26. And fire, we're working to address their comments. With regards to the letters received to date from PS&S dated June 11, 2026, and Phillips Pressey dated June 9, 2026, we agree with and can comply with those comments. I'm happy to walk through any of them or address any questions that the professionals may have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Craig, Kate?
Can you just repeat those impervious coverage numbers? I just want to make sure we have them right, because I think what you said is different than what I had.
Sure. All right, so existing condition, 31.5%. Previously approved, 30.2%. And then proposed as part of this amended application, 30.5%.
Okay.
And the reason, I looked into this before I came, the reason you might be seeing different numbers is the plan set that was submitted during the last approval, different numbers were testified to because we revised per a comment received from the engineer to reduce sidewalks and gravel. So that's why those numbers are different.
Got it. Because okay, I took it from the resolution, which but then you did it again. So sorry, can you just repeat? So because what I had was prior to the you don't need it, like you need a technical variance, but everything's going to improve. So okay, so we had 34.7. This is what this. Oh, this is an old one. Sorry.
The 34.7 was before we removed the sidewalk from that calculation.
Okay, and so in between the approval that was granted October, November, whatever, and the resubmission, that's why that number went down.
That's correct.
Okay, got
Yes.
it. So, but the main thing is that the new, what you're proposing now is 30.4?
30.5.
30.5, okay.
Yes.
That's the number that really matters, so,
Yes.
okay, great. Thank you.
Just a couple of questions. Thank you, Keith. I actually had questions on the coverage, but I understand now that you said it that, you know, the existing condition went down because of the removal of the sidewalks.
Correct.
I'd like to see
So,
that.
yeah. to clarify, I think in the original approval, you requested a variance for the parking stall size. That now goes away because you're complying by restriping. Is that true?
That is not technically correct. The ADA portion now complies. There are still a few non-conforming stalls throughout the site, but again, it's a slight non-conformity. We're talking 0.1, 0.2 feet.
So you still need that variance then?
Well, so it was already granted.
Yeah.
It was already
Correct.
granted,
Yes.
and so I think the plans do notate that it has been corrected, so just, I mean, it's really tiny, but just keep it as an existing condition on the plans.
Understood.
They are, yeah.
Then two other things. One, can you describe what's going on where Phase 1 used to be? The little notch kind of in the center of all three buildings?
Sure. So this is where Phase 1 used to be. Now, I'm going to zoom into our proposed plan currently. It's going to be replaced with green space and a sidewalk. There's a few clean-out structures here associated with the sewer. However, we'll make sure, and I saw you commented on this, we'll make sure it's spotted out and graded appropriately where we can direct water away from the building in a proper manner there.
Okay. And then one other thing for the board, if you could kind of walk through site circulation in terms of not only cars, but pedestrians, especially since there's no like direct ADA parking associated with the Phase 1.
Sure. So I want to be clear, school drop-off and pickup is not occurring at this bottom portion of the page here. All the pickup and drop-off occurs where it currently does at the entrance of the building. If you can see where my mouse is circled right here. That's where the pickup and drop-off occurs for cars and passengers. Those students will then enter the building and they will travel through to an existing door in this location. From there, they will exit the building outside and then have to travel to the modular entrance via a sidewalk that we're proposing.
Okay, thank you. And the drop-off area, I guess, down on the end of the building there, is that, what's that for?
No,
Drop-off.
it looks like a drop-off area, so I see where you're coming from there. That is not the intent of this whatsoever. It is more, it's an access crosswalk if teachers want to take their students outside, or if, someone needs to cross the road that's just in this area for some reason. But that's not the intent for this to be a drop-off and pickup area.
Okay, and that is one-way circulation, I guess it'd be clockwise
That's-
around?
That's correct, yes. One-way circulation, page right to left. We are proposing some restriping there as well to clean that up.
Okay, thank you.
That's it? Okay. Any questions from members of the board?
Wait, one quick question. The walkway, once they exit the building and they come into the modular.
Joyce, if you could move your
classroom,
mic.
Mike.
Take off.
Once they exit the building and they're approaching the modular classrooms, is there a covered walkway in case it's snowing, raining, so they're not getting soaked? I don't know, or a little canopy of some sort?
It is not proposed to be covered at this time.
How far do they have to walk if it was pouring?
It's approximately, let me see. It's about 50 to 75 feet approximately from this door to this area here.
There's existing modular classrooms, right? Is there a similar setup there? Are
Yes,
they
there
closer?
is.
Or, 'cause I believe that those, do you remember that a couple years ago they came in for that? I'm not sure what the distance is there, but I think it was the same thing where there was no.
It's
you know-
approximately the same distance, yes. And just to note, we pushed this as far up as we could. We're trying to limit that distance. It's really a factor of the size of the modular and that it can't be reduced any further. So we tried to shorten that to the extent possible.
It's in a good location, it's not really hindering on anything.
Okay, the previous addition on the building, was that two-story or one-story?
So the previous edition, let me just go to the page here.
There's one
Th-
story.
Yeah, this is one story for phase one here.
Okay,
The phase two is something totally different.
I see. So in that phase one, what did that consist of? Classrooms?
Yes, that's correct.
And how many classrooms? Like 3?
It was 2 or 3 classrooms. I'd have to look at the prior architectural.
2 classes.
And in the new setup, how many classrooms are there?
3 classrooms.
3 classrooms. And when you enter that separate building now, like from the outside, are there 3 doors for 3 separate classrooms, or you walk into a central?
Here, I will show
Sort of
you the
corridor.
architectural plan real quick. Here, so you walk into a corridor, basically, vestibule area,
Uh-huh.
and then there's an option to enter each of the 3 classrooms via a door.
Regarding then, in the previous setup, you would have had obviously a corridor or some type of connection. The main building is going to stay as it is for phase 1?
That's correct.
You're tying in the safety and fire and so on to the main building?
Yes.
Okay. And so this is exclusive of phase 2. Phase 2 still needs to be approved, or that was approved?
That was approved, and it is to remain as previously approved.
Okay. Just a comment on Joyce's comment that I've been involved with buildings that are separate, and when it snows and rains, you'd be very thankful to have a covered walkway between those 2 buildings. So, so I would just throw that out there. That's all.
All right, so we're here today because primarily the contractor walked out, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what is the difference between the original plan that was approved? I mean, what are we doing differently, from the initial plan versus now? And are there any variances or waivers they're looking for due to that change?
The only real, the new variance, which is actually, it's still a variance technically, but it represents a better condition, is that impervious coverage that we just discussed.
Okay, that's
Where
really,
they're actually reducing it.
they're reducing it, so.
Yes, so
okay.
it still is over the 25% that's permitted, but it's being reduced from both, what's in place now and what the board approved a few months ago.
Okay, and so what they're proposing now is actually better.
Better, and I believe that's
Okay,
also the
that's
case
what I wanna
with
make
some
sure.
of the lighting waivers that were granted previously.
Okay.
So, yes, and so essentially what this application is doing is, this is an amended site plan application, amending your approval from last year. You do technically need to grant the new variance for the impervious coverage, and I'll let Craig discuss if there's any other waivers that maybe would be tweaked a little bit, just so we have it correct for the record. No, so nothing else, so it's just that impervious coverage. And it would only be amending preliminary and final major site plan approval for phase 1 of the project. Phase 2 would remain exactly the same as proposed, but it would still be subject to this new site plan application. So basically, both resolutions are gonna continue to apply.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? I guess at this time, we'll open the public questions. If anyone wants to come up. Going once, twice, okay. No, you have a question? Okay.
Victoria Scottalavina, 8 Hidden Hollow Terrace. Was the original plan approved already for your phases?
Yes.
They were?
Yes.
When? What year? What date?
October of 2025.
Thank you. That's all my question.
Okay, if no one else has any questions, I'm going to close public questions for now. And now I'll ask for comments. If you have any comments, public comments? No? Okay, we will close public comments. I guess at this time, we'll ask if anyone has a motion to accept the application. Right, Marty?
I see no reason not to approve this application. The school is an inherited beneficial use, and I make a motion to approve it.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Mr. Vanderham,
Yes.
Mr. Fagan,
Yes?
Ms. Plausas,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci,
Yeah.
and Mr. Silberman.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you,
Chairman,
gentlemen.
members of the board. We
Yeah.
appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. We can have TJ come back in. Okay, next on the item, on the list is PB 2026B, Hackensack Meridian Hospital, 735 North Beer Street. An application seeks bulk variance relief pursuant to NJSA 4055D-70C. 1, to permit a lot depth of 264.6 feet, whereas 264.6 feet is an existing non-conforming condition, and 300 feet is required. 2, to permit front yard setback from Homedale Road of 142.89 feet, whereas 142.89 feet is an existing non-conforming condition, and 150 feet is required. And 3, to permit 107 parking spaces, whereas 107 parking spaces are existing and 112 parking spaces are required. At this time, I'll turn it over to you. And
I'm sorry to interrupt through chair. For the record, 729, Mr. Mann came back to the meeting
okay.
and is eligible to vote.
Just for the record, the IRENA notices and escrows are in order.
That's correct. Thank you.
In any event, we did serve notice.
Do they have to swear in?
Witness,
okay.
Well, we did serve notice and, of course, satisfactory. This is an application for the existing facility located on the site, operated by Hackensack Meridian. There's, in the back of the building, there's on the first floor, with the second floor above it, there was an open area of about 300 square feet or so. It was like a indoor-outdoor patio, just the back wall was not there. This is an application to install a back wall and utilize that square footage for on-site activities. There are no new variances created. There are existing variances that were outlined that have been on the site for quite a while. I have 2 witnesses this evening, Laura Turano, a licensed architect, and Mark Lieber, our civil engineer. With your permission, I'm going to ask that they be called, or
Sure.
Laura be called, and we'll proceed.
Okay.
John, we'll swear them both in now, just so we get that procedural way out. So you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is nothing but the truth and stuff like that?
Yes, I did.
Just for the record, both of your witnesses.
Both witnesses are now sworn. Hey, Laura, could you just tell the board about your licensing and professional standing?
Sure.
No, it's on
Okay.
already.
I have a master's of architecture.
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name, please?
It's Terrano, Terrano. I have a master's of architecture from New Jersey Institute of Technology, and I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey. My license is in good standing, and I have appeared for other boards in Monmouth County.
And how long have you been practicing?
About 12 years.
I'm going to offer you licensing. Okay.
Sure, thank you.
Now that you're accepted by the board, could you advise the board about your plans that you prepared for this renovation, and then describe the proposal?
Okay, it's an existing 2-story medical building operated by Hackensack Meridian Health. There is an existing covered patio off the back of the building. The proposed plans are to enclose that space to create a nurse's station and 2 new exam rooms. There's also an existing room, a chamber room that isn't being, the whole space isn't being efficiently used. So in enclosing that covered patio, we're shifting the equipment down, making that room smaller to open up some space to have a new utility room. They're also adding a new ADA compliant bathroom for staff. Okay. And modifying the lounge due to accommodate the new ADA space.
Now, with regard to this building addition, the only addition to the exterior is that portion of the rear wall, is that correct?
Yeah, the portion on the left of the screen is the existing patio, and so we will enclose that space to accommodate the new layout.
Okay. And can you describe what's going into the interior?
So as I mentioned, it's 2 new exam rooms, a nurse's station, and modifying the existing chamber room.
And this space will be actively utilized for serving patients in the facility?
Yeah, it will improve the efficiency and circulation of the space.
Now, will the building remain, and all operations other than this area remain in operation during the construction?
It will be a phased construction to keep the space operable.
Do these renovations increase the capacity of the site?
No, it does not increase staff or patients visiting the site. One of the main reasons for this is that there's a limit on the stretcher compliant rooms. So by adding these 2 exam rooms, we have more access for the stretchers to be in the exam rooms, because that's how a lot of the patients come to the space.
Could I say to the board that this is an expansion to provide more thorough and accurate service to the existing clientele?
Yes.
And in that regard, have you had an opportunity to examine or have any of the officials at the facility discuss the utilization of the parking area?
Yeah, and speaking to doctors and staff, they said there's always available parking. We've gone on 3 different visits to the site, and there's always ample parking.
What did you find on those visits?
There ranges from 20 to 50 spots open in the parking lot.
41 to 60 spots?
Yeah.
In those 3 occasions?
Most patients are coming by medical transport.
So one was at 2:30 in the afternoon on June 11th. That was 41 spaces. Again, on June 11th at 4 o'clock, there were 60 open spaces. And on June 15th at 9:30 a.m., there were 50 open spaces.
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
your report?
that's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other questions for Laura.
Okay. Craig and Kate, do you have any questions of this witness?
I don't for this witness. I just want to clarify, because I think testimony was given to this effect, but the applicant does technically require a parking variance because of the way the medical office zone is structured by adding the 300 square feet, even though there's no new patients or anything. The parking requirement goes from 110 to 112. So they're at 107. We're not concerned, even, and they did provide testimony, but that is technically, and it was noticed for that as well.
That's why I asked for that
Exactly.
testimony.
Exactly. I just wanted to clarify, because I think you might have said that there were no variances, but there just is that one, so
And
that's.
none of the application is affecting the other variances.
No, the other two are pre-existing nonconformities, yes.
Anyone on the board have anything for this witness?
Yeah, I just have a question. Can you talk again about or explain more about the no increase to capacity even though you're adding exam rooms? How do you get to that?
Well, right now, the exam rooms, there's only one that has room for a stretcher. So the 2 new ones, where a lot of the patients that are coming to this space are coming on stretchers. So the 2 new exam rooms are stretcher compliant.
Okay.
So other rooms won't be able to be used because they can't accommodate a stretcher.
Okay.
And I just have a very quick question. I see your floor plan here, but when I'm looking at the survey, I just want to know, is this where you're proposed at the very top of, it says construction and,
The survey was, of course, prepared under our engineer's direction. He's our next witness. But
Okay.
as you're looking at that.
where I have it circled?
Right there, that is the area that is shown on the,
Okay,
I think.
because
it's
on
up
the floor
screen, yes.
plan, okay, it's up on the screen now.
Where is-
I just wasn't sure where it was proposed
Yeah,
at.
it's
The
in
floor,
area at
the
back.
floor
It's a
pan
little-
wasn't pointing north, so it looked kind of 90 degrees.
Yeah.
It's just a little patio area
Yeah.
where.
Okay.
There actually is a
Just gives me
portion of the
better understanding.
concrete will be removed that extends beyond the face of the building. It's about 70 square feet. So we're technically reducing the footprint of the building, but it's only in the area that's covered that will be where we're enclosing.
Mr. Lieber, our engineer and surveyor, is going to testify that 70 square foot of concrete that's outside of the building is going to be removed. And that impacts the coverage by reducing the coverage on the site.
Two things.
Yeah, it was.
Are you the only tenant in the building? Are you tenants in the building, or do you own the building?
This is Hackensack Meridian operates the building. It's part of, it's associated with the hospital. And they operate the building.
So in essence, you're the only people in that building.
It's on
All that-
Hackensack Meridian.
All that
Yeah, this is
parking
part
we're
of the
discussing is for you?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking for. The entire building is operated by Hackensack Meridian. There is no other users, and all of those are associated with the programs that are at the facility now.
So, just in regard to parking, there's no adversarial people here that says,
Well-
you're taking up my parking?
It's pretty hard to get to by foot, but a lot of my understanding, I can ask Laura, but the study showed that about 20% of the patients are delivered or picked up at this site. So that further reduces the traffic load in that site.
Wes, if I could answer just direct, 'cause I think what you're asking, Hackensack Meridian owns this property, owns this building. There's no condo, there's no one else who has any interest in this site who's not represented by Mr. Junko right now. So
Perfect.
that's,
And lastly, what was the purpose of this opening now? Was that people
It
go
was
out and smoke a
patio,
cigarette? Is that the idea?
Rest area, relaxation rest area, something that I think, I don't know because at the time, it was built before I was involved with this site. I've been involved with it for quite a few years. It was always just there, and from time to time, someone might have gone out there to have a cigarette or have a Pepsi or whatever it might be.
Presently, you'd say it's underutilized.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you wanna wait for the other witness before we go to public questions or comments? Yeah, I mean, do we have any public comments for this witness, or questions for this witness? You do? Come on up. It's a question?
Yeah.
Okay, come on up. State your name and address, please.
My name is Mohan Loknatham. We live at 750 Homedale Road, which is...
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name?
Loknatham is L-O-K-A-N-A-D-H-A-M.
Thank you.
So we live at 750 Homedale Road, which is exactly adjacent to...
Just pick the mic up a little, that's
Yeah.
it.
So it's exactly adjacent to the property that's there. So I just wanted to know if there's any way we would be affected as the property or the fence is exactly adjacent, if there's any extension involved, or how would we be affected?
Yeah, no, the existing building footprint will remain the same. It's just that that covered patio will add a new exterior wall with the finishes to match existing. So it wouldn't impact,
Any of the
no, it's the existing, it's just gonna enclose that existing wall, so it will be continuous instead of having that opening.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're on Homedale Road, I don't think you'll even
Yeah, it's
see
the
it,
back of the
to
building.
be honest, because where it's situated in relation to Homedale Road. So. Thank you. Any other questions for this witness? All right, close public questions. If there's any comments for this witness? What? I'll do comments at the end. Okay,
Sure, I'd like to call Mark Lieber.
sure.
Hi.
Mark, Mark, will you describe your licensing to the board?
Hi, good evening. First name is Mark with a C, last name is Lieber, L-E-B-E-R. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Drexel University. I have a graduate degree, it's an MBA from Rutgers Grad School, and I was licensed in 2003 as a professional engineer, 2005 as a planner, and 2006 I completed the Municipal Engineering Certificate Program. Testified before this board and all throughout Monmouth County and Middlesex County as well.
May I ask you
Thank
to accept this expert in field engineering?
Yes, thank you.
Mark, have you had an opportunity to review the letters prepared for this by Craig and Kate?
Yes, I have.
Okay. With regard to that, do you want to address any of the particular comments, such as the status of the FAR, gross floor area, proposed area, and lot area, et cetera?
Yeah,
You will need to repeat your question because nobody heard it.
Right, yeah. Mark, could you I'm going to change the question then. Mark, could you describe the characteristics of the building that would affect this application?
Yeah, just to, set the scenery here, it's a 2.3 acre property with a 2-story building. It's got parking in the front side yards. This photo is really what the whole project is about. There's a little, I call it an alcove in the building. It's in the back. That's going to go away. There's going to be a new exterior wall there to match what's existing. And there's about 70 square feet of sidewalk that's going to be picked up. If you want to call that a reduction in lot coverage, it is. But there was a question about how this affects floor area ratio and parking. Right now, the gross floor area is about 16,502 square feet. If we increase it by 300 square feet, we're up to 16,802. On a lot area that's 100,144 square feet, we calculate that the current FAR is 0.1648 and the proposed FAR is 0.1678, which is both in conformance with the code. So it's a very minor change. As far as parking, there's really no concern that there's not enough parking on the property. We were actually out there today, midday, and there's at least 40 or 50 parking spaces available. So technically, this increase in floor area does require 2 more parking spaces. So we're deficient by 5, but I see no reason to be concerned about it because there's a lot of parking out there right now. The only thing I did want to mention is
We should mark this as A1, or was that submitted?
it was submitted on email, I believe.
Okay. that's marked.
We can mark it.
Is it submitted?
Okay.
Did we
Yeah.
submit it?
We have it. No?
I'd ask to mark
Mark
it.
it as A1.
You know, I just want to say, like, we're not increasing the footprint of the building. We're not changing circulation here. We're not even cutting down a single tree. This is a very minor application. We're not even triggering disturbance to require a permit from field soils. We don't need to do anything with water and sewer or electric or anything like that. We're really just taking that alcove there and making it part of the building, and that's it.
Mark, will you confirm that the site is less than 5,000 square feet and exempt from field soil conservation review?
Yes, it is.
And have you reviewed any of the letters issued by the planner and engineer?
I have.
Any questions or comments on those letters other than compliance?
No, I mean, the bulk of the engineering report was about submission waivers that we'd asked for, which I thought was practical in the sense that due to the limited scope of the application, we didn't need to provide many of the things on the checklist that you're used to seeing.
And you've had an opportunity to review the variances and the fact that there is no impact to the variances. And in your opinion, as a professional engineer, is there any issue whatsoever with regard to the continuation of those variances?
Correct. There's absolutely no detriment here. The 2 existing nonconformities are pertaining to the building itself, which remain unchanged. And again, you heard plenty of talk about the parking situation out there, so there's really no detriment. We're not creating a nuisance or aggravating any existing issues, so to say, so I don't have any concerns.
And with regard to the parking variance, even though we're adding this square footage, are you satisfied that based on the study and the analysis of the parking lot and its current utilization, that there's adequate parking for this facility once it's fully operational?
100%.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other direct questions for
Okay.
Mr. Lieber.
Just for the record, are you able, did you say you can comply with any comments in the review letters?
Oh, and with regard to the review letter, are you able to satisfy the comments that were presented by the consultants?
Yeah, I mean, there was really Part C technical comments in the PS&S letter from June 10th. I think we addressed number 1. Number 2, that dimension will be added to the plan. The other items here are either testimony items or statements, so we really don't have any comments in the letter. It was a very, very nice letter.
He's addressed my questions with the FAR, yes.
I think that's already been commented on.
Okay.
You know, Mr. Chairman, a lot of my comments I wanted the engineer to discuss, so the board had a feeling of the changes and the de minimis nature of them.
Are you satisfied with what's been described properly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would just a reminder, the reason this is here is because you're not exempt from site plan approval if you're adding any type of floor area that requires a change in parking. So the 300 square feet requires 2 additional parking spaces because it's 1 per 150. So that's why, you know, they're here, but agree with all the characterization. This is very de minimis.
Yeah, that summarizes it the best. That's really what we're just voting on, whether they should provide 2 extra parking spaces when they have 40 or 50 empty ones, as it is.
Yes, and they also mentioned that everyone comes, not everyone, but many patients come via transport. So we, no issues on my end with the variance.
Anyone on the board have a question?
Kate, in your letter, page 2, number 5, it has to do with the floor area ratio.
Yes.
Everything's right there?
Yes, Mr. Lieber just testified to that. He provided that the number, it would go from 0.1648 to 0.1678. That's all that I wanted to know. Just so we had it in the record. No variance is needed.
If I could, if you're looking at that photo, where that area is open, it's just going to have a wall there and become part of the facility.
Yeah, no, we get that. Yeah, it's just. Anyone else? Public questions to this witness? Anyone? Okay, no. Then at this time, I'll ask if there's any public comments for these witnesses. If not, anyone would make a motion to accept the application? Anyone? Okay.
I'll second.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Ms. Plausas? Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Mon?
Yes.
And Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
gentlemen. Okay, last on the agenda is PB 2025G, 23 Main Street, Urban Renewal LLC, the applicant. The applicant has applied to the board for the property located at 23 Main Street, Homedale, Block 13, Lot 15, the property, which is subject to the Vonage Headquarters redevelopment plan for final major site plan approval for Phase 2 of the redevelopment, which includes the construction of a new senior living townhouse community with 65 for-sale townhouses, and with 13 units set aside as affordable units to be located inside of the Loop Road and to the west of the existing building, along with associated roadways, walking paths, parking areas, and related amenities, all in accordance with the redevelopment plan. The applicant requests any variance relief waivers, design exceptions, and/or checklist submission waivers as may be required and granted, as well as other relief as the board may deem appropriate. Counselor?
Good evening, board members, board professionals. My name is Carl Kem from the law firm of Miniman, Scotland & Bauman. I'm the lawyer for the applicant. As you all may recall, this is the prior Vonage site. We were previously here and received a resolution of approval on March 3. Those approvals granted the preliminary final major subdivision to subdivide off a 5-acre parcel along Main Street to be dedicated to the town. We also had a preliminary site-wide major site plan approval, and then we also had final major site plan approval for Phase 1, which in short was the rehabilitation of the existing office building. Tonight's application is relatively simple and narrow and straightforward. Tonight is solely the Phase 2, and the sheet from our plans are up there. Phase 2 is on the western side of the interior of the Loop Road and to the west of the existing building. That is a citizen townhouse community of 65 for-sale townhomes, which includes, as required by your COA settlement, 13 affordable units. There's been relatively minor changes to that Phase 2 from the time of preliminary site plan approval, and our witnesses will go through those. We have also received the board professionals' reports and other reports we'll address through testimony. The two witnesses we will have for you this evening are our architect and our site engineer. As the other testimony regarding things such as the traffic and the like were provided at the preliminary and have not been changed, no additional units. There's no need for testimony in that regard. The applicant has provided notice in accordance with municipal land use law as well as the township ordinances vesting the board with jurisdiction to hear this matter. And if there's no other preliminary comments or questions, we'll proceed with our first witness.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our
Just
first-
check, Carl, that, no.
Yes,
everything's
all
in order.
correct. All good.
Okay, thank you, Marty. Thank you, Irina. Our first witness will be our architect who's seated to my right, who's Christy DiBartolo. Christy, would you raise your right hand, be sworn in, please?
You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Just spell your name for the record.
Sure. First name Christy. Last name is DiBartolo, Dibartolo.
And before we continue, what will be on the screen is the 5-sheet set of architectural plans that were submitted. There were very minor changes from those, so we'll be marking this as Exhibit A1, which is the 5-sheet set. And Christy will give the detail on the revision date, and there's a few minor changes, and she'll go through those as well. Christy, turn it over to you to go through this plans for us.
Sure.
Qualifier, Carl.
Oh, I'm
Yep.
sorry, I apologize. Yes, would you be the qualification?
Yes. So I have my Bachelor of Architecture from the Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston. I'm a licensed architect in New Jersey. My license is current and in good standing. I am also licensed in Massachusetts. I have over 25 years of experience in residential and multifamily design, including affordable housing projects in New Jersey. I've previously been accepted as an expert in architecture before a number of planning and zoning boards. I also serve as a member of the zoning board in the municipality where I live, and I have experience reviewing similar land use applications.
We offer as an expert in architecture.
Sure. Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, Christy, now back to you to go through the plans, if you would.
Sure thing. I have personally visited the site and am familiar with the architectural drawings prepared for the Azura Phase 2 development. The architectural plans submitted to the board have been signed and sealed in accordance with applicable New Jersey requirements. The originally submitted set was dated March 6th, 2026, and I would also like to open up the first exhibit. You can mark that A1. You have that handy?
Yeah, these are the plans.
But that was the original one. There should be another architectural plan dated June 10th.
Well,
While you're doing that, you submitted the 5-page set as one, so we could just mark that as A1 and just refer to what page you're talking about.
yes, we will. We have the entire 5 pages. We A1, and while we're trying to find the updated ones, Christy will just describe the changes. A lot of it's just technical detail.
Sure.
The overall layouts and things that have not changed. So,
Right.
Christy, why don't you just continue with your testimony? if you
Sure
would?
thing. The revisions are minor and include the following. The first sheet was updated to calculate the final square footage for each unit type. The original submission was based on scaled plans, while the revised version is based on CAD drawings, which provide a more accurate calculation. The next sheets 2 through 5, include additional labeling to clarify the individual renderings and their corresponding unit types. If you want to continue on through that, you can move on to. Yeah, so in the exhibit, these were clarified to correspond with the plans, and then sheets 4 and 5 also were modified slightly to show the entry insets and the variety of front entry window treatments. You don't have them? Okay. Okay. I would also like to mark Exhibit A2, which I hope that we have that one. That is the finishes.
So Exhibit A2 has not been submitted before. It's a sheet that will show the finishes, the types of materials and colors.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you just specify, you said that the square footages had changed. Can you just say
Yes.
what those changes are? Because I don't have this, we don't have this in front of us.
Sure
I
thing.
would say, Carl, we never, look. I know you submitted this probably to the township, but since we haven't seen it, I'd go through what Kate just asked.
Yes.
For
oh,
all
thing.
all 5 pages, just specifically what the differences are for each of the pages.
Yeah,
Sure thing.
it sounds like the other ones are more just labels, so, but with any with square footage, let's get
Correct.
that on the record.
Yeah, if you want to scroll back to A1, just the first page there. Yeah, so if you zoom in on the text up above, that depicts the square footage calculations for the areas. The only clarification was that unit type in the originally submitted drawing, unit type 1 in the originally submitted drawing was noted as 2702. It has been bumped up to 2754. And then Unit 2, the originally submitted square footage was 2564 and has been reduced actually to 2638.
Okay, and no changes to the affordable.
No changes to the affordable.
Okay, that was my, we'll address that
Yeah,
later.
and actually,
Okay.
let's close the loop on that, Kate. I mentioned.
I just, for the board's comments, there was a major comment in my report which had to do with the square footage of the affordable units, which did not comply with the new UHAC regulations.
Which we will get.
And, okay,
Yeah.
okay, just make sure.
So yeah, why don't we just, so in Kate's report there, somehow they got changed from one set of plans to the other. They were about 10 square feet short for the units. We will revise those 2-bedroom COA units to have the correct square footage as noted in Kate's report, and we will submit revised plans to detail that as well for confirmation. Thank you.
Apologies, I wasn't sure if that was included in there. I won't interrupt you anymore.
So, board apologies, we had an issue with saving the plans to the thumb drive to come tonight. The next exhibit that we're going to mark is A2. Unfortunately, we're going to try and email them to display them. I'll pass it out to the board, and just to hold it up so the public can see. Yeah, it'll be coming, but so we can continue with testimony. I'll pass around the board. It's essentially a sheet like this that shows the types of finishes and colors, and this will be marked as Exhibit A2. Again, it'll be on the screen in a moment once we can email it and get it on the computer. But I did want to circulate it so the board can see them. Would you mind just taking it if we had passing it along? Apologize for losing it.
I have an extra one too. If you want it.
Okay.
If you want it, so
So do that. Start
send it
this
on
one.
that end.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll continue? Okay.
So that will be Exhibit A2 with tonight's date, and we will send copies of the exhibits in PDF form marked to Irina tomorrow morning.
Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to circle back on the building layout related to the height, the elevations, et cetera. The Phase 2 development consists of 15 buildings containing a total of 65 residential units. The units are arranged in clustered and mirrored building configurations to create variation in the building footprints and the streetscape. Units 1 and 2 are the proposed market rate 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhouse units. The ground floor includes an attached garage, typical living spaces, and an owner's suite. The second floor includes 2 additional bedrooms, a full bathroom, a loft area that can be used as an exercise room or library or whatnot, and storage space. There are no basements proposed in any units. The market rate townhouse buildings are 2 stories and approximately 33 feet in height, which is below the 40-foot maximum permitted by the redevelopment plan. Unit 3, if you want to scroll to Unit 3 there, that's on sheet 4. There we go. Unit 3 is the proposed affordable unit. It is a single-story, 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. It includes standard living spaces, a stackable washer-dryer, a utility closet, 1 bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. The building height is approximately 20 feet 6 inches. The affordable units meet the requirements under the current New Jersey affordable housing rules for unit count, minimum size, and adaptability. The front entries are intentionally staggered and varied to create an undulating streetscape and to avoid a repetitive building appearance. No, we don't have that yet. Okay, so going back to the Exhibit A2, which is the materials board. The buildings include a mix of high-quality exterior materials intended to create attractive and varied facades. The proposed materials include a masonry base at the front facade, fiber cement siding in varying profiles, metal roofs at first-floor bump-outs and accent dormers, and asphalt shingles for the main roof areas. The architectural design includes a series of dormers on the front facades to provide visual interest and to help the buildings relate contextually to nearby structures in Homedale. The windows are proposed as double hung. Exterior lighting includes gooseneck fixtures at the garages, recessed lighting at the main entry porches, and coach light fixtures at the rear doors. The proposed fixtures comply with all applicable foot candle minimums and maximums under the redevelopment plan and in the municipal ordinance. In my professional opinion, the architectural design is consistent with the Phase 2 preliminary site plan approval and the applicable architectural requirements of the redevelopment plan. The proposed number of units, building types, and general architectural arrangement is consistent with the preliminary site plan approval. The proposed building heights are below the maximum height permitted by the redevelopment plan. The architectural plans call out for 13 affordable units, consistent with the unit count reflected in the preliminary site plan approval. The proposed building elevations, exterior materials, roof forms, window treatments, lighting, and staggered front entries are intended to comply with the design objectives of the redevelopment plan and to create a coordinated residential development with architectural variety. From an architectural standpoint, I'm not aware of any requested variances or design waivers specifically related to the architectural design, except to the extent identified by the applicant's planner, engineer, or attorney. To the extent any architectural design waiver is identified by board professionals, I'm prepared to address the architectural basis for that request. In response to the board professionals' review letters, I have reviewed the letter from Phillips Priest dated June 15th, 2026. Item number 12 notes a requirement that two-bedroom affordable units shall contain a minimum of 850 square feet, while the current proposal shows approximately 840 square feet. The applicant is willing, as a condition of approval, to modify the plans by extending the full width of the rear of the applicable buildings by approximately 6 inches in order to comply with the 850 square foot requirement. This modification is architectural in nature and would allow the unit size to meet the minimum square footage requirements. Any site plan related implications, including setbacks, grading, drainage, utilities, or impervious coverage, shall be addressed by the applicant's engineer or other appropriate professionals. My testimony tonight is limited to the architectural design of the proposed buildings, including the layout, unit configuration, height, elevation, exterior materials, finishes, windows, lighting, and architectural compliance with the redevelopment plan. I'm not providing any testimony related to engineering, traffic, drainage, surveying, environmental issues, or formal planning or variance proofs. Those should be addressed by the applicant's other professionals. In conclusion, it is my professional opinion that the proposed architectural design for Azura Phase 2 is consistent with the preliminary site plan approval, complies with the applicable architectural requirements of the redevelopment plan, and is appropriate for the proposed residential development. I am available to answer any questions that the board may have regarding the architectural design.
And Christy, one quick follow-up question. The, mentioned the offset of the buildings, it's the 4 feet that's required by the plan. That was a question posed by the board engineer, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We have no further testimony from the architect. She's available for questions from the board and public.
Craig and Kate?
So just, I don't think I have any questions. I think everything's been answered. I would just note that, you know, the increasing the square footage of the affordable housing, glad they're gonna do that. I think that any change to impervious or anything like that will obviously have to be shown on the plans. I think it'll be very, very negligible. And, you know, they're not gonna, and they're already massively decreasing the impervious, but they will have to show that on the revised engineering plans. But yeah, and you know, just so the board knows, that's a standard set by the state for all for sale affordable housing buildings. So I'm glad that they are meeting that. I requested that the applicant provide, you know, testimony about building materials. They provided that as well as the exhibit. So I don't think I have anything else for this witness.
Okay.
So I agree with Kate, with the extension of inches of the buildings, it's not gonna affect, have a negligible effect on the stormwater infrastructure that's being proposed or any of the grading, that can be easily addressed with the updated site plan. The one comment I did want to add is, the building height. I think the, architects, testified about the building height. We just need to, make sure that the site engineer looks at it too, because it's the building height plus the distance to the grade plane, so it's a little bit higher, but there's enough height between what was testified to and the permitted that shouldn't be an issue.
Yes, and we'll have the engineer specify that for you as well.
Thank you.
So there's nothing that's being proposed that's non-conforming at this point, right? Everything's gonna be meeting all minimum requirements by the state?
That's what they've testified to,
Okay.
and they will obviously review that again if this were to be approved as part of resolution compliance. And also, you know, it's all part of our affordable housing plan in the township, so there's another level of eyes on it as well.
Right, okay. Anyone on the board have a question for this witness? No? Oh, go ahead, Wes.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not sure all these questions are for you, so you can defer if it's not. Is there a homeowners association associated with these units?
So there will be eventually a condominium created, but not at this point.
So you anticipate that this would be covered under some type of homeowners association. Is that for the entire project, or is that only associated with phase 2?
Well, once you create a condo on the property, it affects the whole property. So yes, this phase 2 will be its own condominium association.
Phase 2 will be its own condominium association,
Correct.
separate and apart from Phase 1, is that what you mean?
Correct, yes.
Oh, really?
There will be, without getting into detail, there'll be kind of an umbrella homeowners association that will make sure the individual phases, everything coordinates, and then each phase will have its own homeowners association. It's frequently done. There's actually a large project up in Somerset County that has, God, it's a long time since I've been up there, has like 12 homeowners association on the property. So they do have these umbrella ones to coordinate, but yes, there will be.
The individual units, in each case, even if it's a two-story, the same owner owns the bottom and the top, right? So then that ownership goes out the front door and the back door. Does each property have its own little front yard and backyard?
Yes, that's correct.
I visited the open house on Phase 1, and they have units downstairs and upstairs. And they typically enter through a common corridor in the main building, Phase 1 I'm talking about. And then the question came up, if I'm in Phase 1 and I'm on downstairs, can I let my dog out in the backyard, and can I build a fence? And no, I'm not sure anybody was really sure about that, because the question was, can I just enter my unit on my first floor through the back door? And I think the answer was pretty much no, because they want you to come through the main entry. I guess my question is, again, ownership extends the front yard and the backyard. How is it decided what people can do with fences, for example?
I don't know, sorry, I don't know if the condominium documents have been prepared yet to determine that, as to exactly where the individual property will end and the common elements will start, but that'll be dictated through those. But again, in response to your larger question, these are kind of like a townhouse setup as opposed to the rehabilitation of the office building. So it is kind of like you're saying, you would walk in your front door from your street or driveway, and you would have a, quote, back door out the back of the building, yes, and you would have the first and second floor.
This Phase 2 is not age restricted, is that right?
Yes,
The
entire project,
is age restricted, and that means that it's 55 and up, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's 55 and up. Yes, 55 and older.
And in terms of owners versus rentals, and someone could buy a unit and rent it out, is that right?
Unless they limit that in the condominium documents, and again, they're not been prepared to my knowledge or any limit on that, but these are built and being sold as individual owned units and not rentals.
Thank you.
Like an apartment. It's not in that, it's an ownership structure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question. Just so I see on the plans the market rate units have a garage and a driveway. The affordable components, are there parking spaces in front of the buildings? I didn't, maybe I missed it on the plan. What's the parking situation for the affordable?
Sure, they do not have garages, dedicated garages, but the civil engineer will testify to where their parking spaces are.
Okay.
Okay, did I ask, all right, so, questions on this witness yet? All right, so at this time, if there's anyone from the public that has a question of this witness? If not, okay, thank you. You want to call your next witness?
Do you want me to walk through the materials at all? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Our next witness will be our engineer.
Is that Gary?
Oh, sorry. Keep your hand up a long time. This is what a testimony about to give us the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Mark, please give your name, spell your last name.
My name is Mark Zelina. It's Mark with a K, and the last name is Zelina. I've appeared before this board previously as with this application during the initial phases. I'm still a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My license remains in good standing.
We offer Mr. Zelina as an expert in engineering.
Okay.
Thank you. And Mark, I'll just turn over you to go through the site plans for phase 2.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to get the rendering straight
Right,
here. There it is.
This will be marked as Exhibit A3. It's a color rendering of the site plan, which was not previously submitted, but the base site plan is in the application package. I'll have Mark describe further, but this will be Exhibit A3, and again, I will provide Irina with copies tomorrow morning.
The previous one? All right, go back to that. Okay, as we, as Carl just mentioned, this exhibit marked the project rendering, final site plan, Phase 2, Azure Reserve. What we've highlighted on Phase 2, or I should say, Phase 2 is outlined by a red line. It encircles the entire Phase 2 project. The rest of the project that was approved under Phase 1 is shaded out by the white shading, in effect. The existing building and all the proposed improvements under Phase 1 are shown for its relationship to Phase 2. And Phase 2 you see is in the brighter colors. As the site exists today, the part of Phase 2, it's about 12 acres in area. It's entirely a parking lot at this point. The parking lot services the existing building. Of that, there's about 9.6 acres of pavement and just a little over 2 acres of landscaping within the islands and the perimeter of the parking lot itself. Access to the existing parking lot, there were 3 existing driveways, all emanating from the existing ring road. The ring road exists today and will remain throughout the project. The proposal for this project, the 65 senior living townhomes, which were already alluded to, 52 market rate units and 13 affordable housing units. On this plan, the 13 affordable housing units are located at the northern end of the project site. It's being circled right now. They're just a little bit darker in color there at the where they're just shown. If you want to just zoom in on those a little bit right now. There was a question about the access or the garages for, I'm having a hard time maneuvering through this, you see. I was jumping ahead a little bit just to answer the question that was posed about the garages or driveways for the affordable units. There is a single driveway, owner's driveway provided for each of the individual affordable units. It looks as if there were a garage there. The driveway runs right up to the unit itself. And then in addition to that, there are additional off-street parking spaces provided along the driveway for additional residents and guests. I'll go back to the townhomes themselves. Each of the townhomes have 2-car garages along with a 2-car driveway. There's additional 27 guest parking spaces, which is in accordance with the ordinance and the residential site improvement standards. In addition to the units themselves, or the parking provided by the driveways and the garages, the requirement is to provide one half a parking space for each unit. So for the 52 units, 26 additional parking spaces are required. There are 27 guest parking spaces provided within that area. There are 6 handicap accessible spaces provided for. And currently there are 2 electric vehicle charging spots shown on that plan. 5 are required. We will add the additional 3 as part of the revisions to the plan. Of those electric vehicle charging spots, 5% of those must be for handicap accessible spaces, which is a requirement of 1 space. Going back to the affordable units, there are the 17 additional off-street parking spaces for a total of 30 parking spaces. 1 handicap accessible parking space. The plans currently show 8 electric vehicle charging spots where 5 are required. So the 3 additional EV spaces that we show there will be relocated to the market rate unit area. There are gang mailboxes provided within the site plan itself. 2 are shown within the market rate area and 1 shown within the affordable housing area. We've also provided for 1 striped parking space in front of each of those mailbox units so that the mail can be dropped off and or picked up. So if someone wants to drive from the unit to pick up the mail, there's a spot available for them rather than stopping in the driveway. The driveways themselves are 24 feet wide. Throughout the development, there are 3 access points from the ring road with the interior driveway, as well as 1 connection to the interior driveways for the phase 1, which is just north of the existing building. Want to note that there was some comments from the engineer that the ordinance requirement is for 25 feet, but the residential site improvement standards permit a width of 24 feet, which is what the plan was designed around. Stormwater be collected by new inlets and piping located along the access roads, as well as behind and behind the units and around the units. All the roof leaders will be attached to the underground stormwater system. We won't have any washouts at the base of the roof leaders or anything like that. And then stormwater will be reduced just by virtue of the reduction of the impervious coverage on the site. There's approximately 36% reduction in impervious coverage throughout the phase 2 area, which was the 12 acres. So the reduction from 9.6 to 6.1 acres in impervious coverage will provide for the required or necessary reduction in stormwater runoff from the site. Water mains will be provided throughout the development. Each unit will be serviced by individual laterals from the water mains. Water is provided to the entire site from existing mains along Holmdel Road and Main Street. They'll be brought into the development during the course of phase 1. They'll be extended through the phase 2 development during the development of this phase of work. Similarly, the sanitary sewer, each unit will be provided connected to the gravity sanitary sewer mains. They'll be constructed within the proposed roadways of this development. The gravity main will be extended to the existing pump station outside of the building, northwest corner of the building, and then from there it'll be treated in accordance with the agreements that were made during the prior application as far as how the sanitary sewer is going to be treated. The main thing for me to reiterate is that at no time will the existing on-site treatment plant and lagoon be used for treatment and disposal of any of the sewage generated by the development. There's a main pumping station being developed along Holmdel Road. It's in the course of development. If the construction of the units precede that, the sewage will be gathered into storage tanks and collected by licensed haulers and hauled to a treatment facility. I'm sorry. Just briefly, landscaping. Landscaping plans were provided for a variety of plantings throughout the proposed development, a variety of shade, ornamental, and evergreen trees, as well as a robust foundation planting scheme around each of the units, each building. We had provided a tree location, woodland retention and preservation plan. It's included in the plans that were submitted and had a list of all the trees that were being removed. The diameters, we calculated the total diameter of the trees that were being removed, and we're providing for adequate replacement of those trees by virtue of the landscape plan. So there are probably more trees in the development than you might normally see, but we made sure that we accounted for all the trees that were being removed, even though they're not natural and were part of the parking lot plantings. We'll have a quite robust landscaping plan when we're all said and done. The other thing to touch upon, there's lighting. There's 2 types of lighting fixtures proposed for the site. Throughout the residential development itself, there are 32 12-foot high pole-mounted decorative lantern LED fixtures. They're basically the lantern-style fixtures that they're very common within the townhome developments and residential development. There's portions of the ring road that do not have lights currently. We're including 13 new 24-foot high pole-mounted light. They're flat-top LED light fixtures, and those are along portions of the ring road that do not currently have light fixtures to make sure that the walking trail and the ring road has adequate lighting. And then finally, there's signage. We have 3 vehicular directional signs proposed at the new intersections with the ring road. Those are basically directional signs. They're 6 foot high and 3 foot wide that provide kind of like a wayfinding sign that tells someone driving around the ring road how to maneuver through the site. And then we have one project or phase identification sign at the southernmost entrance to the development. It's a 5 foot high and 10 foot wide internally illuminated monument sign that identifies the project site as you you come from the main entrance off of Main Street. And that in a nutshell is what this development's all about. It's very consistent with the preliminary approval that was granted for the project and consistent with all the other the redevelopment agreement and redevelopment plan as well.
And Mark, you've received, we'll start with the reports, the report from the board planner dated June 15, 2026, and the extent there's engineering comments, we can agree to comply with those in the planner's report.
Yes.
And then you've received the board engineer's report of June 15, 2026, and except as you provided in testimony, we can comply with the requested revisions and conditions in there.
Yeah, yes, I agree with that. I think I touched upon a few of the topics that Craig and I had discussed that he wanted to bring to the attention of the board, but I'm happy to address any other comments that, Craig, you feel is applicable at this time. But generally, all the technical comments we agreed to take care of as a condition of any approval or any action on this project.
And then we also received the report of June 16th from the township engineer on the wastewater treatment, and we've had discussions with him as well, and we agreed to comply with all the conditions at the time CO was issued, and return to the board once there is a final design for the force main location on the property and connecting all the units to the force main location on Homedale Road. Is that correct?
That is correct, and that's my understanding, yes.
Yes. So we also received the report, the interdepartmental reports. There was a comment from the police department, and those comments are being addressed with the county regarding the crosswalk and things of that nature. And we have an upcoming meeting with the county to discuss and finalize those. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Just for clarification, that comment requesting a mid-block crosswalk from the project site to the across Homedale Road to some of the businesses there was made during the initial application. We've been in contact with the county throughout the course of this project, trying to coordinate a meeting between your township traffic safety officer and the county officials themselves. We finally got an offer yesterday for a meeting this week to have that discussion. However, the traffic safety officer is not available for that meeting, and we'll have to schedule that over the course of the next couple of weeks, at which time we'll work with everyone to address those comments or that request.
And in short, those are the similar comments that we had when we were here for phase one in the preliminary.
They're one and the
So
same.
again, that's more or less a continuing condition. We agree to address those. We'll work with the county. To the extent the county needs to give relief, we will, make the request for relief in conjunction with the township to accommodate those comments in his report.
That is correct. The county's amenable to those. They will require some action from the township or request by the township specifically for the speed limit reduction on Homedale Road and also the crossing. But we will coordinate those meetings and make sure that action progresses to the extent that both the county and everyone, the Homedale officials, are satisfied.
Thank you. That's the extent of our engineering testimony, available for questions and comments from the board and public.
Before another question's answered, let me answer Mr. Fagan as it results the question about the ownership of the property. These are not fee simple lots. There is no ownership of the land associated with these units. It's condominium form of ownership, so basically the owners own within the walls of the building, And all the property outside the building is common element, which is owned and maintained by the association itself. So to the extent of fences or anything else like that, that would have to be an action or covered under the bylaws of the association, which we not privy to or they're not in place at this time. But there is no, I just wanted to answer your question earlier since I wasn't here, is that there is no property ownership associated with these units. There's not fee simple, which is that kind of ownership, just the ownership within the units themselves.
Kate and Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. The planning and zoning section of my report, I had listed a couple of possible variances. First one related to the 25-foot wide driveway or roadway driveway that's required by the ordinance. And I agree with Mrs. Lena's testimony that would be, it's governed by RSIS, which allows the 24, so that's not a variance. The other item relates to the distance of the parking next to the building. And this is related to the area of the affordables. I was not focusing on the actual driveway for the affordable, but some of the adjacent visitor parking was within that 20-foot. It was close to the 20-foot, but it did not meet that 20-foot requirement.
And Mr. Herman and I did speak about this earlier today. He is correct. We are shy of the 20 feet in a couple of instances where the guest parking spaces are short of the 20-foot dimension. We will adjust those so that we are not requesting any variances, but will in fact adjust our site plan so that it is in accordance with the requirement. And we'll dimension them accordingly. I know Craig noted that there were some dimensions, or we could add possibly more dimensions throughout the site plan, and we agree to do that as well.
And as far as stormwater management, they are a major development, which means they need to meet the groundwater recharge, water quantity, water quality requirements. They do that in this application via the removal of the pavement. One of the ways you can show that you meet the quantity is that at all times there is no point in time when the proposed rain is greater than the existing rain. They show that by comparing the hydrographs. I requested the NGDEP recharge spreadsheet be prepared, which by virtue of reducing the impervious cover, that should come up, there's going to be a positive recharge. And water quality, they don't need to provide because you only need to provide water quality for any new motor vehicle surfaces. Since the motor vehicle surfaces are being reduced, you don't need to provide any water quality treatment for that area. And the last item is, I just wanted to clarify my comment related to the sanitary sewer. I mentioned that they didn't show the proposed force main schematic on the plan, and they didn't show it on the phase 2 utility plan. But on the overall utility plans, they did show schematically the plan that was in the revised or amended redevelopment plan with the force main and the connection to that.
But in short, everything is conforming, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I just have a question about, well, first, thank you, Mr. Zellina. I think you answered most of the comments in my letter that related to landscaping, including, or excuse me, not landscaping, related to engineering, including, stuff about the parking calculations, et cetera. Craig already covered the height calculation, which, just make a note on the plan indicating that, how that was measured. But again, I think the height is shown at 33 feet on the architectural plans, and 40 feet is permitted, so they definitely have room. We just need to know the exact height measured in accordance with the ordinance definition.
Just for clarification, if I
Yes.
may, there are no basements here. The existing grade, or the proposed grade around these units are typically 8 inches to 1 foot below the finished floor, so we're not going to come close to the
That's what I
40-foot
figured.
maximum. So we're going to most likely be less than 35 feet at the end of the
There
day.
you go.
to
Perfect.
grade. So.
Perfect.
And we'll make sure that's reflected on the revised
Yep.
plans.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And then my only other comment is on the sign. So the monument sign. Can you just show where that's proposed on this plan?
I most definitely can.
One of these days.
Yeah, I apologize. The batteries on the wireless mouse died, so it's a little hard.
Oh, I know. Don't even get
So
me started.
the ring road is shown along in the darker gray there, and as you approach the first driveway into the development, there's a it says M2 monument sign. See the detail on the sheet. So right at that location is the monument sign that identifies this portion of the project.
Okay.
As
So the redevelopment plan does not have specific signage requirements. It gives deference to the planning board. The township planner who issued a letter, Kendra Lilly, stating that everything is in compliance. It conforms to the redevelopment plan and the redevelopment agreement. I just, when I saw that the sign, I think the question is, when I saw that it was going to be internally illuminated, I just had a couple questions about that. And so it looks like it's not going to be visible from Homedale Road.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's way,
I think it's just more, if it's, even though it's technically permitted, what's the rationale for internally illuminated? It's not going to be like, is it going to be like channel? Like, what are we talking about here, I guess? I know we probably haven't designed it yet, so.
No, the idea that like the sign would be solid and then the letters within the sign would be illuminated at night so that it's readable during the nighttime. It's not going to be a bright
so
bright
it's
sign. It's just more
right.
for wayfinding, or you're coming onto the site. Here's the Azure Reserve project. To differentiate it from the rest of the portions of the project.
Okay, I think I would just, I think what you're proposing is fine. It's not really going to be visible, but I would just, add that because we don't have the final design, we just want to see that as a condition of approval, I think.
We have no objection with that.
Okay.
Right?
I'm sorry. You're
Main
right.
Street,
I'm
right.
sorry. You're right. It is. We were talking about Homedale Road before.
But-
Yes, Main Street was what I meant. And yes, it's tough. And then also that there is the buffer of the township-owned property there. Okay. We just like to double check internal illumination in Homedale.
That's what we're here for.
So,
We're fine, yeah.
So that's fine with me. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone on the board?
I want to backtrack to the charging stations.
Yes.
You said there were 5 charging stations in all, correct?
No, there would be 5 within the market rate unit section and 5 within the affordable housing section.
Oh, so there'll be 10 charging
Yes,
stations?
altogether, yes.
Okay.
And each of those would also provide for the handicap accessible space has to be a part of that as well. So we're going to be fully compliant with the state rules and regulations.
Okay,
as
because
it
I
is.
just wanted to prevent a future domino effect, because as people buy electric cars, especially in the affordable housing area, they won't have the luxury of being able to put the electrical chargers in the garage like a lot of residents do, where the other quad, so to say, would be able to adjust their garages.
That's a point which I omitted, right. All the individual homeowners within the market rate units
market
do
rate.
have the ability to put their chargers in the garage.
Right, and I just don't want any problems between residents because somebody's monopolizing, et cetera. I want to make sure that on a planning stage that there's enough for future residents and the domino effect as people purchase more of those type of cars.
Yeah, I would also note that, maybe confirm this, but, we talk about, I think one of the reasons we're talking about these almost like the market rate component and the affordable housing component when it comes to parking, one reason, obviously, they're in the same general vicinity, but for the parking calculation, since they're different bedrooms, different number of bedrooms, the parking ratio is different. But, one of the redevelopment plan standards is that, basically this will be shared area, so the residents of the affordable housing would be able to use the visitor electric charging.
There are condo police.
Yeah,
and they're-
that's correct. So it's in the entire phase, as Kate indicated, we've been talking about, this is the market rate, this is the affordable, but it's one phase. So even if somebody in the market rate or somebody in the affordable rate needs to charge, they can drive to the other side of it.
That being your
and-
bylaws, that it's a shared.
Yeah, those are
20
all open.
I would want that in the
spaces.
bylaws.
Yes, I agree.
I-
I believe it's also, it doesn't specifically reference electric vehicle charging, but the redevelopment plan and the redevelopment agreement and the affordable housing agreement are all very specific, as are the state law, that, that they are not to be isolated developments of this type.
So for example,
want that.
if you look at the plan,
Make that a point.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm not sure that's within our purview to make that a requirement of the HOA.
It is because it's state affordable housing law. So
Yeah,
that's,
right.
and so, but so it's
Well,
it's
whatever's
not,
in the law, they have to
Yes.
comply with.
Yep.
I'm saying we just can't go above and beyond. what the law requires.
So if I may just stress your comments, please. If you look, for example, on the strip that's A9 through A13, those are market rate. They have their own driveways. Across the street, so to speak, is a strip of parking spaces. Now, those don't have EVs, but the point I'm trying to make is those are open, and there's a number of those throughout the areas, and those are where the EV chargers are. So the fact that this is a market rate person, the EV across the street from them be taken, they can drive up to the northern end where there's more of the affordable units and plug in there, and vice versa. An affordable person could drive southerly in the project and find one of those visitor parking areas and plug into those as well. So it's open within the phase. Everyone can go everywhere. We've just, like I said, been detailing on market rate because there's certain things we have to make sure we provide to comply with UHAC regulations and your affordable housing requirement that was imposed by the courts. And we will make sure that's all taken care of, is the bottom line. I just wanted to illustrate that for you. Thank you.
Mr. Kemp, also, so just to clarify, 1 through 5 are market rate, A9 through A13 are affordable, but I think yes. But yeah, no, that's okay. But I mean, they're basically equidistant from there.
A1 through A13.
And I would also, to go back to Wes's question earlier, Mr. Fagan's question about the fencing, there is an optional patio that would be part of the ownership if someone were to choose that or to be determined. Yes.
That is correct.
Okay.
The units have an optional sunroom as well as an optional patio.
Yes.
And we provided, just for the record, we provided for that impervious coverage within our drainage calculations. Should 100% of those units require all of those amenities, it's provided for.
Okay.
We've gotten stuck with that in the past, and we don't want that to be a problem moving down the road. So.
Okay. And this is my last question. I don't think it's necessarily directly for you, Mark, but just to confirm that all residents of both the market rate and the affordable housing areas here will have access to all of the same site-wide amenities, because there are no specific, it's not a clubhouse or anything associated with this part of the development, but there is, the recreation sites that will be throughout the site, does everyone have access to those?
Yes.
Okay, making sure. Thank you.
But the whole site's wired, so like if the ownership decides the condo wants to add more EV spaces later, they can always do that later.
Absolutely.
Right, so if there's a need for it, the association will take care of that.
We can't see what the need for
That's
these electric vehicles are going to be in the future, and that will definitely become a condominium association issue as
Right, just
time
like
goes on.
any other association would have to deal with.
Yep.
Right, okay. All right, go ahead, Wes.
I don't want to beat the electric vehicle to death, but as I recall, Phase 1, there were no electric vehicles allowed in the covered portion.
That is correct. In the garage portion, that we had that discussion with the fire official in town, and they are
But,
expressly prohibited at this time until the technology changes or something like that.
but these owners, not only will they put their electric vehicle in the garage, but they'll have their charger potentially in the garage.
That is
too.
correct.
No restrictions there.
That's correct.
Did I hear you say that would be the gutter leaders in the gutters are connected to the stormwater system? They're not emptying out onto the lawn.
That is
They're
correct.
being completely stormwaters off the roofs are being completely removed from the property via the underground stormwater system.
Yes. It's a big maintenance issue with these townhome developments, the splash blocks and the erosion from the roofs.
I was going to ask further about the sign. I thought that the sign would have been something like whatever the names are, Phase 1 over here, Phase 2 over here, 3, but that's not the case. You're talking about a sign only identifying this Phase 2, just as Phase 2? Is that what the sign is for? Not directing someone, just saying that they're in the right place?
Now, there are 3 additional signs at, let's say, if you were to go out each road, road A, B, or C, out to the ring road, on the opposite side of the street, there's I'm going to call it a directional sign on it. On our plans, it shows if you wanted to go this development or the Homedale Road or whatever, there's a whole series of placards that will help you find your way through the site. So at each intersection of the interior driveways out to the ring road, we're providing for one of those, call it wayfinding signs, so help you.
What we're referring to as Phase 2, are you assigning a name to that?
Yes. I forget what it's called Azura Reserve. So the overall project is Azura at Homedale. This portion is will be known as Azura Reserve.
So phase one would have a different name, Azura. Big
That's going to be
building.
called the Azura Residence, I believe. Phase
Okay.
one is going to be called. I don't think we've given names to each phase. We're kind of figuring them out as we go, but those are those two. And again, the wayfinding signs will say if you want to go to Azura Reserve, take a left, to Azura Residence, take a right, and that way people can find their way around. And then the monument sign, when they get there, they'll know they're at the right place as they're coming into the development.
We've been talking about mostly entry off 520. There's an entry off Homedale Road, right? And that's completely open, right? That's not gate. None of this is gated.
It is not gated, correct. There are main entrances on off Homedale Road to access the entire site. Everything goes directly to the ring road, which provides a complete loop around phases 1, 2, and what will eventually be phase 4, but that's not depicted on these plans as of this time.
Okay, finally, regarding the actual staging of construction, one would assume that phase 1 gets done before phase 2, but I guess that may not be the case at all.
That may not be the case, correct. They may be built at the same time. We're not,
It could be 2 finished before 1.
it's possible.
So there's no limits that you're putting on yourself, and we're not putting any limits on anything. Is that right? So they can finish phase 2 before phase 1 is finished, is what they're saying.
Unless there's anything in the I don't think there's anything in the redevelopment agreement to the contrary. From the township's perspective, we just want to make sure that they have filled, that they're phasing within the phases, the affordable housing units with proper COs and everything. But I would defer back to the redevelopment.
I think the only thing was phase 4 can't start until we figure out the flow after the third phase is complete, right? If I remember.
That actually gets a little bit changed because we'll have the force main, because that
Okay.
was an issue with do we have capacity in the wastewater treatment facility, which is kind of off the table. My client just reminded me that in response to your question, Mr. Fagan, we do have to have a certain number of units ready for CO in phase 1 before we can get COs for phase 2. So construction and COs may be a little different on the scheduling, but again, before we can get a CO and anyone moves in phase 2 rather, we have to have, I think, 11 COs issued for phase 1. So there will be kind of close in construction, those two.
And that is considered contemplated in the redevelopment.
That's the redevelopment agreement, but again, I just want to make sure we're clearly explaining it to the board members.
Just so they can know where to look if they wanted to see that.
Sure.
And the other important thing to consider is there are affordable units in each and every phase. So there's 20% set aside in phase 2, just as there are in phase 1, 3, and 4 as well. So they're almost independent as it relates to that, to make sure that the township satisfies its affordable housing obligation with the state.
Right, that's what I was referencing, because under state law, state regulations, you have to have COs for a certain you can't get COs for your market rate units until a certain threshold of affordable is met for each, and I think that will be for each phase. So yes, that's all also covered in the.
It is.
Yeah, that's all in the state regulations, yes, and obviously those apply, and we will comply with those.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just 2 questions. Let's see if this works. I think Kate mentioned that all the residents will have access to the amenities of the site. Will there be I see sidewalks, but is there sidewalk paths to the main condo building where that pool area is going to be? Like, is it clearly visible where they're going to be walking to get to that main area?
In terms of access, if you recall, there is a 6-foot wide walking trail around the entire perimeter of the interior of the ring road.
That's outside the ring road, right?
On the inside loop of the ring road, and then a 6-foot bicycle lane adjacent to that. And you'll see that throughout this particular phase of the development, sidewalks on both sides of the interior roadways connect to that as well, and then also are interconnected into the phase 1 area of the site.
What I'm referring to into the phase 1, so they can get to the common area, right? Where the
Yes.
pool area is?
Yes, and there are certain amenities that are open to everybody, and then there are other amenities, I believe, inside the building that are like a club membership or something that anyone can participate in, but I believe some of those will be membership or fee-based inside.
Would these owners have access to that membership?
Yes, yes.
Wes was talking about the water coming off and going into the main underground system. It is, refresh my memory, is there a retention basin where the stormwater ends up, or is it going to the stream? Where's the stormwater collected and distributed? I know it's with the reduction in impervious coverage, there's a recharge component to it, but the water that's collected, where does that go?
It's going into the existing piping system that discharges to the brook or to, yeah, there's,
Okay, at this time, I'll open it to public questions. If you want to, just come on up.
Fran's got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fran, yeah.
Not so much a question, Mr. Chairman, but we did submit our review letter. I just wanted to ask for a few points of
Sure,
clarification
sure.
from the engineering expert.
Mm-hmm. Does he need to be sworn in?
No,
Oh, we did,
Chairman,
okay.
You have our review letter dated June 16, 2026?
I do.
Correct? Okay, and I know that there's been a certain amount of information exchanged. We've gone through, have you gone through the whole letter? Do you have any issues with anything in the letter?
we do not, no. There are, a citation of the conditions of the prior approval that relate to the sanitary sewer collection and treatment systems, which we will abide by. And then there are another series of comments related to technical issues related to the plan that we'll be happy to provide for your review and approval.
I would like to just ask for a few points of clarification.
Sure.
And I'll make it quick. So you indicate, there are 8 separate previously specified conditions of prior approvals. So condition 10 through 17, there's 8 of them. You're here tonight, you've already touched on it in your direct testimony that they're all clear, the applicant is still committed to fully comply with each one of those, as you asserted in your testimony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's correct. And just to make it very clear, we understand and certainly would ask the board attorney to clarify it in the resolution for this approval, should the board grant approval. We completely understand that those conditions that you cite in your report apply to the entire property, no matter if is this phase 1, 2, 3, 4, those all apply. And as I know you want to get to further, but as discussed, all the comments that you have starting at the bottom of page 3 through the end of your report, we will provide those prior to any CO being issued. And again, once the full development of the this force main's done, I know your office is involved along with Bayshore and the county and DEP. We will come back with a site plan amendment showing the connection to the force main, the decommissioning of the existing wastewater treatment facility. All that will be provided in a site plan once it's fully designed and everyone involved signs off on it. So we agree to that as a kind of a blanket condition, so to speak, just to make it very clear for the board, the public, and then, of course, Fran, I know you have more detailed questions. I wanted to address that from a high level. We absolutely understand that. That was always the intent. Again, let's reiterate it on the record and reiterate it in the resolution, so there's no ambiguity there. So thank you again. And again, Fran, thank you again for taking the time. That we bugged Fran a number of times over the past couple days. He's been very generous to give us his time to talk through and understand these issues. But I want to turn it back over to you. I know you have some other detailed questions.
So that's a very encouraging assertion by the developer, the applicant, that they're still wholly committed to all the prior conditions and specificity of each of those conditions. I just want to point out one thing, and your description was excellent, with one clarification. I would suggest that I don't know if you were intentional, but you indicated before any CO is issued, all of these technical requests of ours in our letter would be complied with. I think it's more applicable to be fully complied during the resolution compliance process with all the details, so we can sign off on the site plan so you're eligible for building permits, and it would not wait until a CO. It would be done up front as part of your conditions of approval. This goes forward.
So if we could talk about that a second, Fran, and I don't mean to be rude and push back on it. The reason why, and we can change the trigger, is that,
Just do one thing. Let me
please,
just
please.
assert, though, what I'm suggesting is items like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 14. They're talking about diameters of manholes, details of force mains, pipe bedding, cover on utility.
Understood.
It is all, I check them off as all technical compliance, because they're not items that would wait until construction starts.
Under-
Really set the stage for you to get your construction.
Understood, yes. So those items you mentioned, we agree, as within Phase 2, we will provide all those details. A lot of the other ones, so for example, the final full calculation of flow needed, we have to have full design to figure that out. The exact connection point, yeah, we understand each other on that one, and we'll make sure that we all communicate that to Marty to make sure it's clear in the resolution. But yes, agree with that point. Thank you for taking the time to clarify.
So we'll start pretty much at the back of the letter. So our review letter ends on page 5. So the only numbered items that we listed that I would ask for feedback on and clarification. So we'll go in reverse order. It's number 13. The idea that there is a demolition plan and schedule prepared by the project engineer for only the sewer infrastructure components. We listed it as a comment. We don't expect that to be something you can develop at this point in the process with the multi-phase approach. But ultimately, we will have some form of a report from you with a sequence of schedule, with some milestones on how the sewer will be modified. The sewer infrastructure will be modified per phase to support the units in each phase accordingly. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Then that satisfies 13. Number 11, an engineer's report is expected detailing the temporary sanitary sewer disposal plan, basically to accommodate the sewage and the sewer flow for each phase. As they go to construction, they start to get occupied. As flow starts to be generated from phase 1, phase 2, and so on, can we expect, are you committed to providing an engineer's report that will describe the sequence, scope, and limits of the sewer improvements on a per phase basis?
Absolutely, including the projections based on the DEP.
Okay. So, all right, so now we're going to jump back
Oh,
to
did I-
page 2, I'm sorry. I just wanted to point out for the board and everybody reading this anytime now or in the future, that we list the phases 1 through 4 on page 2, and then under that, we say the overall development is projected to generate the following sewer flows. I want to just hear from you that these are projected flows on gallons per day per phase that were provided by your office or the application documents. These are not T&M calculations, T&M Associates, that is. This is information that we gleaned from your application, and it's simply to just remind the board each time we review a phase what the design flow calculations by the project engineer, Mr. Zelina, or someone associated with the project on the design side, the applicant side, are presenting to the board the sewer flow expected from each phase. This is not a T&M calculation. I just want to point that out because I wouldn't expect these flows, these projected flows, to change from the review of phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. These flows should really be consistent every time the applications come before the board. And then I just want to point out, so is that accurate? Is that correct?
Yes, and those are based on published flows that the DEP provides for us. We're not pulling those out of thin air or projecting something based on our experience. These are-
Totally agree, and I totally accept the calculations and the flows being presented. I have no question about them. I have no contest with these flows. They're not too much, too little. I think they're consistent with what your prior information has been on previous hearings. But I also want to point out that the cumulative total, the combined total at the bottom of the column of numbers is 45,760 gallons per day. Now, there was a comment just a few minutes ago that, well, we don't have a cap on the flow because there's a new sewer solution. I'm not sure that that is accurate. I think there was a mutual commitment between the applicant and the township for the sewer solution, the ultimate sewer solution, in the form of a new pump station with a new force main dedicated for only this property, and the force main will be extended to connect to the BRSA sewer system.
Yes.
But that didn't translate for me, and I will research this. I don't know the formal answer tonight. I will double check it, but I believe that there was 45,000 gallons per day maximum expected flow from the full build out of the project, And one of our comments was simply to ask about that. Do you still intend to use actual flows that get metered in like phase 2, 3, or 4, so you can determine if you are your project is generating less real actual flow than what the DEP unit calculations are, so that you can stay under 45,000 and still service all the density and all the units that were approved for the property?
Totally understand what you're saying, Fran. Sue, I don't have the exact language in front of me. It's in here somewhere. Because again, once we shifted from the on-site wastewater treatment facility to the force main solution, some of the things changed, and I think we haven't figured out the way to word it properly. But let's start from concepts to make sure we understand each other, and we'll get down to the granular. The agreement was that whatever the flow is needed per the DEP calculations for the entire build out of the entire project would be accommodated in the force main. The discussion and the possibility of reducing the total flow needed for the site based upon actual usage was more in regard to the original proposal of using the wastewater treatment facility, because that had a cap of 45 even, and we would have gone over that. So we were hoping to be able to build all 4 phases if we had actual usage, and then determine that the wastewater treatment facility could handle full build out. And that was the conversation around actual flow usage once we had development and we had a year's worth to look at. But again, the way the language, and it is kind of broadly written, but way the language for the force main final solution, again, we abandoned the wastewater treatment facility, is that whatever's needed for the project, the force main will handle. So again, my understanding is we're going to base it upon the DEP projections that we calculated, that you reiterated in your report, and that's how the force main would be sized. We can work out those details later, but conceptually, that's my understanding.
Okay, so let me just point out to the board then, we aren't going to work out any of these issues, meaning me directly. That's to be resolved with the board attorney and their attorney, if that is a suitable working through this uncertainty that I bring up. It's uncertain to me. It may be very certain to all the other parties that are the authors of the agreement, the sewer solution. But I appreciate what you just said. I have no contest, no pushback on that. But then I just want to point out that the total, cumulative total of 45,760 gallons per day for the engineer, that's based on the flows per phase, and those are based on the standard DEP unit flows, right? Flow per dwelling unit, bedroom, or whatever the fixture count, that kind of thing.
That's correct.
Okay, so that is 45,760 is the ultimate total sewer flow generated by all the units. If they all get built, they're fully occupied, that's the maximum flow that you're projecting it'll be designed for, because that coincides with the DEP formula.
Correct. And
Fred?
our understanding is that's what DEP is, because again, DEP will sign off on the final design of the force main.
Okay.
And DEP is going to look at that number to make sure the force main is carrying that amount to service this project. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to give us the permits to build. But again, DEP will decide that. As indicated, there's a number of shareholders involved, including Bayshore Regional. They have to review and weigh in on it. So again, the language in the redevelopment agreement as well that was amended to address this has the same general language, which is whatever is needed for the project is what the force main will carry, and not more, because again, the concern was we don't want to have too much capacity in that. So it was, again, we're all assuming it's going to be the bandwidth and what DEP tells us to design to, and that's what we'll have to have the force main accommodate, and nothing more.
Okay. And I apologize, because I just want to be clear about this so that no board member picks this up a week from now and says, well, Fran Mullen at T&M in his letter said they're entitled to 45,760 gallons per day. I'm here to just assert that I'm not clear that they have the authority or the township's blessing to go above 45,000 gallons per day. But if that does happen, it doesn't trigger any reluctance or criticism from my office. 45,700 or 45,000 max. The system can be designed and will accommodate whatever is allowed, the maximum flow allowed by agreement and condition of approval. So just keep that in mind. I want to make sure I clarify my letter a little bit more next time to make sure you don't think this is I'm endorsing this number or we calculated this number. We're just simply reporting what has been submitted with this application to you at this point in the process. So that was a lot of conversation around something that still needs clarification, and I apologize.
No, Fran, it's definitely worth having the conversation. And again, as indicated before, please pick up the phone if you need to talk more about these things. We're here to help.
Understood. I will continue to do that. The only other item 3 on page 3, on sheet 6 of 36, there's just a couple of notes about. I would just ask that the engineer clarify a little bit about the graphics and your explanation of some of the labeling. I see that there's the sheet 6 has the existing sanitary sewer lift station. That'll be part of that's the sewer pump that is referred to a bit about phase 2 development, so that the sanitary sewer is going to get collected. It goes to this lift station, and then it gets pumped into the holding tank on the temporary basis.
On a
During
temporary
the
basis.
interim before the town's new pump station is built and operational, you have to be self-sufficient, self-supporting, standalone. So some of the elements, the pump, the lift station that you have on your plan, and the equalization, the existing equalization tank or
Yes.
holding tank, are the two main existing facilities that are going to still remain operational and utilized on a temporary basis to serve the different standalone phases until the township pump station is built and operational, and you can therefore extend the new force main into the new township pump station and disconnect the temporary facilities. Is that accurate?
It's only the intention of our design is that we're going to be able to connect all the proposed units to the new pump station by gravity. We will no longer need that existing on-site pump station. We'll have it interconnected, and we could explain it in greater detail right now, but the way we have it designed will be a very simple disconnect of that existing pump station, and all the flows from the site, which would go to that location now, will then flow by gravity to the new pump station located at the southeast corner of the site.
So those are provisions you can specify in this interim temporary sewer system.
Absolutely.
Engineer's report. So that's excellent to hear that temporary small lift station will be only temporarily used. It will be decommissioned, disconnected, and eliminated.
Yes. Correct.
Once the township sewer solution is available.
Right, and in your comment 11 on page 4, that engineering report, that will contain all those details as you just outlined.
Excellent, okay. Mr. Chairman, those are really just the clarifications I wanted the board to have a clear message around.
Okay, thank you. You want to have a question? Come on up, sir. He needs the mic.
Thank you. Is this on?
Yes.
Kinji, 8 State Street. I know this is the question for the engineer, but I just want to clarify. There's a lot of comments and letter that all seems to be dated June 15th, which is just yesterday. And to the best of my knowledge, those have not been posted on the website, or have they?
It's all posted on the website.
No. Okay. Because earlier when I checked, they were not, so we'll get that. Thank you. So I apologize. I was sitting in the back right underneath one of the air-conditioned ducts, and depending how close you were holding to the mic, some of the stuff go in and out. So plus I'm hard of hearing anyway, so I apologize. So I'm asking you to repeat a lot of things that may or may not have been already mentioned. So and I'm glad you clarified one thing. There is a new pump station that's being built, because I know on the north side of the building there is an existing pump station, and that's not going to be used. Is that correct? So individual units will have gravity-fed pipes that goes into the new pump station. Is that, just want to clarify that first.
Eventually, during the early stages of the project, that existing pump station may be continued to be used to pump the effluent to some the existing equalization tanks that are part of the existing wastewater treatment plant, where the effluent can then be trucked away from the site to a treatment facility. So at such time, until that pump station, new township-owned and maintained pump station is built, that existing pump station will have to remain in operation.
So the actual, if you will, the shipping, the trucking from that is actually from the equalization tank, not from the existing pump station.
That is correct.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to go into the equalization, but did that change, or is that always the plan?
That's been the plan.
Okay, sorry. So there's a new plan, and then I know there's mention about utility plan, and again, I didn't see that on the website, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. But is it known now that where the connection with the force main and the connection from the new pump station to the force main, is that all on the utility plan?
There is an overall utility plan as part of the drawing set that identifies the approximate location of that pump station. It hasn't, the design of that pump station has not been finalized as of yet, but it's shown on that plan on the TV there. It's at the very southeast corner of the project site.
Okay, so that's outside the ring road.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you. So right now, the plan is as the units are being built, and I know we're going to focus on phase 2 right now, gravity-fed pipes going to the new pump station, and that's going to, until the hookup, it's going to the equalization tank, and that's going to be trucked out. And then at some point, when the final plan for the force main is finalized, and then it's going to be constructed, and there's going to be a connection from the new pump station, so that it will flow, then it just goes right into the force main. Is that correct?
That is correct. The plan at this point would be eventually all the units constructed on the site, all 4 phases, will flow by gravity to the proposed pump station, and from there it will go by force main to the Bayshore Regional Sewer System at some point north of here.
So the pump station service is not just phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, all of them.
That is correct, and
Okay.
that was what we were just having the discussion about, those numbers and what the gallonage would be. So it would include all 4 phases.
So the original plan was, because of the existing wastewater management plant, was going to be limited to 40,000 daily, and then there would be some kind of monitoring and with the flow, because right now all your calculation is based on DEP parameters and so on. But at some point, I believe it was said that after the 3rd phase or something like that, there will be a monitoring, and you can see whether you're going to hit the max or not, because then you may have to go back to unit. But because of the force main solution, it sounds like pretty much whatever the plan was that you have for the max unit, that's pretty much a go-ahead right now. Is that correct?
Yes, what happened, the existing...
We already answered for you, but...
Well, but just so, for clarity's sake, that existing treatment plant was permitted for a maximum of 40,000 gallons per day. So unless there were modifications to that treatment plant, which were not proposed, the development of the site had to be limited such that it did not generate more than 40,000 gallons per day.
Yeah.
With the alternate plan now of decommissioning that treatment plant and providing for the alternate plan of providing the pump station and pumping the effluent off-site, then it would allow for the construction of the entire project as is proposed, to allow for the construction of all the affordable units that are required by the state for this project.
So are you involved in that design of that force main?
I am not.
You're not, okay. What if, hypothetically, so based on the plan and on a sort of temporary basis, the effluent will be trucked out, right, off-site, and then at some point it will be connected to the force main. Hypothetically, what happens if the force main doesn't get built?
The force main is a part of the plan for the project.
I understand that. So right now you're getting final approval for phase 2, and so on. So the phases, and meanwhile, the design on that force main is being worked on and so on. At some point, that's going to get constructed. Who knows what happens, and so on. So there could be delay, time lag, whatever, either temporarily or maybe for a longer basis. So question is, again, it may never happen, but if for some reason it is delayed, and I don't know if Mr. Colgan is going to be one to answer, but you will continue the current process?
I can jump in, Mr. That's governed by the amended redevelopment agreement. I think the cost of trucking shifts at some point if it's not built within the 3-year mark.
I'm sorry, I wasn't referring to the cost. I was trying to understand the process. Right now, he's describing the handling of the sanitation. I'm trying to make sure we understand what happens under certain scenarios, so it's not about the cost.
It'll continue being trucked, but the cost.
I'm sorry. Could you let the applicant answer, please?
Well, no, it's a legal document with the township and a redevelopment agreement, so that's already, it has nothing to do with this. I mean,
Yeah, Marty, I can share. So the agreement states, and I think anything can happen, as you indicated, but the chance of the force main not being built is incredibly rare. So what the agreement states is that for.
Sorry. So was the Knicks winning the NBA championship.
listen.
That's okay.
Let's not go there. But what the agreement provides, as Marty was just explaining, is that for the first 3 years, the applicant will bear the cost of trucking the effluent off-site. After 3 years, that falls on somebody else, whether it's the township or the MUA, we don't know. But if the force main's not built in 3 years, the applicant's responsibility to pay for the trucking ends. So somebody else is going to have to figure out what to do. But again, everyone is very confident, all parties involved, that the force main will get built. It'll comply with all DEP standards, as we were just discussing with the T&M engineer. And if you comply, DEP really can't say no. So I don't think there's a realistic possibility it won't happen, but that's what the agreement states.
No, and I get it. I'm asking a hypothetical, and it could be delay, who knows, right? The DEP or whatever. Okay, so 3 years, the magic time. So during that period, the applicant, the developer is responsible for that, and then when that's over, it could be the township, or it could be.
Who knows who? But again, the 3 years starts when we start generating effluent. So right now, since we got approved, people have been working, Fran's office, we've been in contact with MUA, everyone's been working to finalize that and move it forward. So the process to build the sewer main, the force main, is moving. The 3 years hasn't started yet, so we may actually have, say a 5-year window before we have to worry about that scenario. So the 3 years kicks in once we start with the effluent flowing. So we have more time to
There seems to be a difference of
address it.
opinion here. I'm not sure. Okay.
So again, there's a 3-year limit, and then we go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. G, I just checked the website. The material is there for you. Dated today's date.
Yeah, okay. Because I checked already.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions? All right, if there's no more questions, we're going to close public questions for this witness. Counselor, is this the last witness?
This is our last witness. We're ready for public comment.
All
and
right,
vote.
so if there's public comments now.
Good evening.
We're going to swear you in first,
Unison.
so.
Sure.
Just swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just spell and state your name for the record.
Alicia Unison, Unusan. I'm at 8 Riverside Lane. I'm making a statement for CELU, Citizens for Informed Land Use. We thank you all for your time this evening. We do have a statement for you. Since its founding in 1998, Citizens for Informed Land Use has consistently and vigorously argued for one core principle of land use policy: preserving the quality and quantity of drinking water by protecting the swimming river watershed. CELU appreciates that in response to sustained public outcry, the township has taken steps to address legitimate concerns about preventable drinking water contamination at the Vonage site from the antiquated on-site wastewater management system. However, CELU has long opposed the extension of sewer service into southern Homedale because it opens previously protected areas to incremental and higher density development. Although the township has stated that this extension of sewer service farther south will be limited in scope, deed restricted, and sized exclusively for the current project, CELU finds these assertions to be inconsistent with Homedale's historical precedent. Sewer infrastructure originally approved solely for the Bellworks main building was later extended to serve surrounding townhomes and single-family residences that had been planned with septic systems. The public was then assured that sewer service would not extend beyond Bellworks, an assurance that is now being abandoned as we consider the Vonage redevelopment. Once sewer infrastructure is installed, the sewer to expand its use is both foreseeable and inevitable. CELU believes there is a viable and far less damaging alternative to extension of sewers: the use of a modern package treatment plant with on-site leach fields and subsurface discharge. Such a system would effectively remove contaminants from wastewater while preserving groundwater recharge, protecting the integrity of the watershed, and the remaining fully consistent with Homedale's master plan and the township's wastewater management plan. This approach would address public health concerns without compromising one of Homedale's most environmentally sensitive areas. For decades, Homedale Township has made deliberate, thoughtful investments to protect one of its most critical assets, the Swimming River Reservoir watershed. Millions of dollars in public and private funds have been dedicated to preserving open space, protecting groundwater recharge, and safeguarding drinking water quality. Those investments were based in science, long-range planning, and understanding that this area functions as a primary source of drinking water for more than 300,000 residents in Monmouth County. This need to protect our drinking water is the reason the New Jersey state government has designated the area as a Planning Area 5, the most environmentally sensitive of all of the planning designations. That understanding is also embedded in Homedale's master plan, wastewater management plan, and in the R4R zoning adopted more than 20 years ago for southern Homedale. The decision is a measure of the planning board's commitment to responsible stewardship grounded in science. It is an opportunity to make thoughtful, purposeful decisions that uphold Homedale's long-term planning goals and environmental protections. We urge you to act with integrity and fortitude, ensuring that this decision strengthens our community, respects our guiding principles, and leaves a legacy that residents can be proud of. Thank you for your time.
Yes. Come up.
You affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
State and spell your name for the record.
Patrick Triskita, Trischita, 56 Line Road.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice to see you again, Scott.
Hey, Patrick.
I want to thank CHA. Excellent plan for Phase 2. The condos and the affordable, in the market places and the affordable housing look great. I think it's a great project for Homedale. Homedale now has a population of 17,500. Over a third now, nearly 6,000 are over the age of 55. So this is a great project for Homedale, and it looked great as proposed several years ago. It looks even better now with the forced main to the to this place, as well as the forced main to our new fire and EMS center that would be on 520. So I encourage T&M to move forward as quickly as possible so that the seniors have someplace to move into. I think these 65 units as well as the 104 units will be a very competitive and very useful, and Homedale residents will take advantage of them as soon as possible. I encourage you to move forward as quickly as possible to approve this plan and get it to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Kinji H. State Street.
Wait, can I swear in? You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. The Knicks did win. No. I'm sure your attorney will cover this, and Marty's good at this. But what and I'm a complete lay person, but what I thought I heard was that the road that's going to be in for phase 2 is only 24 feet versus the redevelopment calling for 25 feet. Is that correct?
It's the underlying township ordinance.
Well, this is comments
So,
now,
so it's a very minor point. I'm not making a big deal of it, but just to cover you, a little bit, is that the redevelopment plan, I believe, supersedes any local ordinance, and
So it is not contained in the redevelopment plan. It is contained in the underlying ordinance, and what supersedes both of those is the state residential site improvement standards, which permits 24 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else have a comment? Come on up.
You can take that off. I'm going to swear you in.
Hello? Am I on? Or am I off? Okay. All right.
I swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
As far as I know, I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Ann Bontempo, 22 Grandview Drive, Holmdel, New Jersey. Proud resident for nearly 30 years. I've gone back, and I don't know if the master plan means anything to the township and the planning board. I've gone back to 1958 since our first master plan was written here for Holmdel, and with specific jurisdiction over the southern slope. It has always been an area of concern. It has been environmentally sensitive. And with the northern part of Holmdel, which I have tons of papers here and I can quote it all for you, but I'm going to summarize. With the overdevelopment in the northern part of Holmdel and the lack of recharge water because of that, there is to the Raminescent, or from the Raritan water recharge, there is salt contamination because of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. We don't have enough recharge water coming in at the north end of Holmdel because of all the ground coverage that we have. So there's actually restrictions that have been placed on the north end because of that. And also, there's a tight-knit link between the north and south end of Holmdel. We have to be extremely more conservative on taking away any recharge water from the southern slope of Holmdel because the northern end has been so compromised. I don't know if you've ever read up on any of that, but as a planning board member, it's land use. And I may not be accurately correct on what is the domain here, but I would really ask that the board be very considerate on understanding that by depleting the recharge water to the southern slope, by putting in a sewer or having a sewer done, that it will further decrease the quality of our drinking water that will exist, that is already at critically low levels. We've already compromised the north end of Holmdel through all of the construction that's been done. If you put a sewer in, if a sewer goes in, the original plan to have a brand new treatment plant put in that T&M had struck out by the owners because they didn't want to do it or for whatever reason, was a good plan to put in a new functioning on-site treatment plant because the water would go back into the swimming river reservoir. It would be recharged. We wouldn't be depleting a critical water supply for potable water for us. In the end, it'll cost us more money if we don't have good drinking water. We already had one algae bloom this year. I don't know if any of you were affected by it, but I was. My water tasted like dirt. I could not drink my water. If we don't have enough water recharging into that system and the nitrate levels go up, we're going to have more of that. That means that the American Water Company has to treat that water with more chemicals, and those chemicals get passed through to us. So I think there should be a backup plan if the sewer system doesn't go through. Because we will have to change our master plan, our land use, our wastewater management, all of the documents here that say to protect the southern slope, to maintain a certain amount of recharge water, because it's invaluable to over, and it's been said before, 350,000 people in Monmouth County. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot in the long run. And that's what we'll do if we have this sewer system go in. And there's documentation here from former mayors, from Mayor Cody to Mayor Impreveduto, that I can read out to you. I have the articles right here that all say we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't sewer the southern slope. Please, I'm begging each and every one of you to think about the actions you're going to vote on. We've seen the effects on the northern end of Homedale, and it's damaged it. We have saltwater contamination coming in because there's not enough recharge water in the north end. If we start putting in sewers in the south end, we take away the recharge water. We start lowering we lower the water, increase the concentration of materials that we don't want. And then the water becomes, first of all, Swimming River Reservoir is a stagnant reservoir. You increase the chemicals, the nitrates, you're going to have more algae blooms and more problems. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody up there wants to argue the point with me. Any of the engineers, board planner, am I saying anything that's incorrect?
It's public comment. Then
Okay. I'm just asking for feedback. That's my comment. And I'm begging you to please consider this wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Because I will fight for this with every breath I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay. So we're closing public comments now. I guess now make a motion to. Yeah, anyone want to make a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Subject to all the conditions.
Mr. Vanderham? Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Ms. Plausas? Mr. Bell? Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mrs. Silberman?
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, board members
Thank you.
and board professionals, for your time this evening. Again, a thanks to the board professionals for being so generous with their time, getting us here this evening, and reiterate the offer to reach out if there's any questions in the future. Thank you, everyone. Have a good summer.
Yeah. All right. So at this time, there's no reports. So we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.